Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This is going to be a different kind of video. It's just going to be me sitting and chatting and telling you what's going on in my life because I haven't posted in a bit over a week and I wanted to let some of my more loyal viewers who tend to watch the things that I put up, whether they're interested in products or not, know what's going on. So this looks very different. It's because I am now in my new apartment. This isn't going to be my new filming setup, but for now the light worked out properly and there are so many moving boxes and things around me right now that I'm in the process of unpacking that I thought this would probably be the best thing to see. I thought I would sit down and actually share with you some of the things around moving into my new place and my housing situation over the last number of years and why this has been a little bit of a stressful week for a number of reasons, but it is getting better. I'm starting to feel a little more settled in. So if I go back, let's say 6 years now, I was living in a home that I owned. It was in a small town outside of Ottawa, about a 45-minute drive from downtown, and that is the home that my then husband and I bought together after we got married. We were married for 5 years together, 10 years altogether, and when we separated and got divorced, I ended up buying the home out for us. So I had like the whole house to myself, but I was living in a small town with none of my friends nearby, in a 3-bedroom house that was a lot to maintain for one person. And so I decided to sell it. And then I moved into downtown Ottawa. So it took a while to find a place that I wanted, and I decided to rent instead of buying anything because I didn't necessarily know what part of the city I wanted to live in. I didn't know if I was ready for the responsibility of buying into something else right away. So I moved to the area that I'm in. The area that I'm in has sort of 3 buildings as part of, not a complex, but the same builder built 3 buildings sort of in a row. So when I moved here, I rented a place for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, I want to say. And then the woman who owned the condo decided she wanted to move back into it again. So I don't live in a rental building. I was renting a condo from someone. And here in Ontario, there's actually a lot of renters' rights. It's really hard to just kick somebody out of a rental, and there's different rules and they're sort of in flux, but generally there's only so much you can raise the rent, and it's just there's not a lot of reasons that somebody can be sort of like kicked out, but the owner moving back in is one of those reasons. So when that happened, it was a little upsetting. I had to find a new place to live. And I really liked the neighborhood I was in. I was able to find a place in the building next to mine. And it ended up being the place that you guys have seen for the last like 3 and a bit years. And basically when I moved into that place was when I started doing YouTube videos. And I never ended up doing a home tour, but I'll do a few inserts here of photos in a minute. First, I'll tell you why there are photos. So I lived there for 3.5 years very happily. The condo I moved into was great. The guy who had bought it and originally planned to live in it himself. And then life happens for a number of different reasons for him, and he ended up not moving into it and rented it out. So that's how I ended up with it, and it had like beautiful finishes and just very much my taste and my style as well, and like really nice like stainless steel appliances and countertops, like all that kind of fancy kind of stuff. And so I really enjoyed living in that place, and I was there for 3.5 years, and really good relationship with the owner of the condo and who was my landlord. However, his plan was never to be somebody who owned a rental. So the market in Ottawa for housing has gotten really hot, and he decided it was a good time to sell. And I think he was hoping that I would buy the place, but I wasn't in a place where I wanted to be buying anything. And I decided, so you can't kick somebody out of a rental because you decide to buy it. However, once somebody does buy it, they are now the owner, and if they choose to move in, they can kick you out. So I thought instead of waiting for that to happen and being sort of at the mercy of that timeline, that I would be proactive and start looking for a place to live, because I wanted to stay, again, in the neighborhood that I was in. And let me give you some numbers here, because Ottawa has gone kind of crazy lately. And these numbers are probably going to sound crazy as well for certain people in the States who watch this, or like outside of big cities. So the very first place, so I was paying in rent $1,500 a month for the place that I was in. and I had a parking spot, I had a storage locker, I had a nice 1-bedroom. And then there's a certain amount that they could increase your rent by each year, and it's a pretty low percentage, like 2 or 3%. So by the time I lived there for 3.5 years, I was paying like a little over $15.50 for the place. And when I started looking for new places to live, the rental prices in Ottawa are bonkers. Like, I was finding places that were listed saying $1,700 a month for a studio with no parking. Or like, I found another place in the building that I was in that was up for rent, and they were charging $1,600, but if you wanted a parking spot, which I need because I have a car, it was another $150. So it was going to be like $1,750, or maybe it was even $1,800 or $1,950 when you added in parking. So I happened to see a place that was up for rent that was like just a little bit more than I had been currently paying in rent, including a parking spot in the same complex, and it was sort of having an open house for it, and whichever renter they liked best, which also this wasn't the greatest timing, because those of you who know what I've been up to for the last year know that I've been in school. And generally landlords don't love it when somebody doesn't have a job when they're looking for a place to live. But I came and I applied for this place, and I knew the community really well. This is actually the building that I used to live in before. And I got the place. So I spent the last month getting ready to move, and because I was just moving one building over, it was my partner and my sister and I that did the move, which meant we were lifting and carrying all of my stuff ourselves, which was kind of physically a lot to do. I have a lot of bruises and stuff right now. And the day before, the day that I got the keys, which would have been Saturday because I moved in here on Sunday, it's interesting when you see a place when it has nothing in it. I came into the new space, and it's definitely like smaller, and it wasn't designed to be like, the person who bought it to rent out. So, you know, they didn't choose like the high-end appliances, and it's all superficial stuff, but I was having a hard time with feeling like I was paying a little bit more to live in a place that wasn't as nice and I didn't like as much. So I had a hard time over the weekend doing all the work and moving here and thinking like that I wasn't going to be happy in this space. Now, yesterday I actually started unpacking my boxes and putting things out, and I'm feeling now like I'm going to really enjoy it here. There's more counter space in the kitchen. Like, yeah, it's like, you know, white appliances instead of stainless steel and that kind of thing, but there's more actual counter space. So if I do like baking and cooking, and I think I'll maybe have a good setup for doing some cooking videos in a way where I can actually like stand behind the counter and talk to you guys, which would be kind of fun. This view maybe isn't quite as nice, but it's a lot quieter. I look into a courtyard between the buildings, so I don't have like traffic noise or anything like that. And the building itself, it has a good gym, and it has an indoor pool, so I can go swimming year-round, which is awesome. So I've been quiet over the last week because there's been a lot going on, but also just sort of dealing with my emotions of making a move and a change that wasn't something that I personally had initiated, that I kind of had to react to, which can be sometimes a little hard to deal with. And all the time that I lived in the old place, I kept saying I was going to do a home tour at some point, and I didn't. But the place is now up for sale, and so I, you know, had it all cleaned up for when they came and did photos and stuff of it. So I thought I would share a couple of photos of what my old place looked like, and then when the new place comes together, hopefully it won't take me 3 years to do like a home tour of this place. But, you know, I'll show you here. I have the old place had like a little desk and study area, which I had made some Doctor Who themed paintings to go in. That's where I did a lot of my work for school. The kitchen and bathroom were really nice in that they had the very white and gray, and I really like white and gray. My family used to joke that my favorite color was gray, because when I'd be looking at anything, if it was gray, I would like it. I can show you photos here of my bedroom, which you guys saw like one angle of, and so you can see what the whole thing looked like. And my living room, and you can maybe see, actually you can see in the background here behind me right now. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that I do archery. So that's my bow that's there, but you can see it in the background of the photos of the old place as well. I really liked that place. I, had a good moment saying goodbye to it. The new place has a different vibe and a different energy. It feels a lot cozier and warmer. Not quite as stark, just warm hardwood, carpeting in the bedroom, which makes it a little more cozy. So it'll take a little bit of warming up to, but that is what has been going on with me. So I appreciate your patience over the last week as I get my life figured out. And when you see me again, I will have a new filming space set up. I think I'll continue to film in the bedroom. I'm gonna see what I can do to maybe make the background a little bit nicer, but it'll also maybe just be plain for a little bit. Thanks so much, you guys, for just chatting with me today. I'm looking forward to getting back into making videos again and having my life settle down a little bit. Thanks so much, you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.